Back from the dead.
Alright guys, hi, it's FailcoPunch here, and I've been asked to make a Xenobia kind of guide, so here it goes. I'm not an expert on Xenobia, but I do know a lot about her. So the first thing I want to tell you about is her escape potential. Not many people I see play Xenobia know about this, so I'm going to just show you right now. That is Xenobia's back dodge. Look at that. Look how far you go with this ability. You can really cover some distance. Now, honestly, this is one of the best ways to escape for Xenobia in the game. While her dodge isn't bad, her back dodge will just get you pretty far away from an enemy. So if you really want to escape, I'll show you an example here. You see how far away we got from that guy? So that's the potential Xenobia has to escape. Alright, so I wanted to say that Xenobia's role in the game is mostly to be a support. She can either be a damage boosting support or kind of like a greedier support. Like, let's say you don't trust your solo queuemates, right? Happens to all of us. Basically, maybe you want to go a more solo heal path where you do more damage, you're going to gain more health back, you can kind of do a lot more on your own without relying on your teammates. Alright, so there's two very different build paths for that. I'm going to start with the team-based one, okay? Alright, so let's see. I'm going to say the first thing that you'd want to get for a team-based kind of build is Withering Gaze, right? So this means your auto attacks, while attached, your LMB, Gaze of Envy inflicts weakness, which is a minus 20% damage for 1 second. That doesn't seem like much, but honestly, if you keep your LMBs attached, basically the enemy is going to be weakened every second. So that's pretty impressive. That's a really interesting thing. So let's say the enemy team has a lot of high damage characters, especially melee ones, or mid-range that are going to be in your face a lot. Let's say Gnosis, Trip, Taito. Withering Gaze is really, really good against those, especially if your team is sticking with you. It's going to give the enemy a minus 20 damage. So I would say that's really good for dealing with enemies while you're with kind of like a more death ball style group, right? Alright, we're going to grab that. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to say is your RMB can also be customized to kind of be greedy, like benefit only you, or really help out your team with dealing with the enemies. I would say Echo of Spite is really, really useful for a team-based Xenobia, because basically you can hit 3 people at once with this ability. So that's really good. Let's say the enemy has a lot of high armored targets like HK, Ashlyn, Vidasi, they have Gnosis, Margrave, you know, they have really tanky team. I would say Echo of Spite is really good. It's going to hit multiple people and crack their armor, make it a little bit easier for your team to deal with that, right? So we're going to grab that. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to say you'd want in a build like this is your E is extremely useful to get, right? You can basically spec yourself to deal with healers or deal with people who have a lot of buffs. Let's say the enemy team has a Sven or a Vidasi. You might want to get Depths of Despair, right? So Mark of Despair affects a larger area and inflicts poison, which is a 50% healing reduction. That's pretty strong. That's gonna really mess up Vidasi. Poison in general messes up healers, so maybe you want to get this. Or alternatively, Building Anguish. So this is a really interesting ability that is, I wouldn't say it's situational. You could really have this go to your advantage no matter what. Let's say the enemy has a lot of buffers on their team. They got Griselma, they have Ashlyn, even Vidasi. This also works on Vidasi too, because Basically, after 1 second, Mark of Despair deals damage and inflicts curse. So this denies buffs. This actually works on trip stealth. You can actually take a trip out of stealth with this ability. Because apparently stealth is a buff. So anything that's a buff will get denied for 2 seconds. So that's a really interesting path. To be honest with you, either one is really good in a team-based environment. So you have to think to yourself, do I need to reduce healing of any healers, or do I think I can catch enemies in my E because it's a little slower. It takes 1.5 seconds to cast. So really this is up to you. So I'm just gonna get that to show you how it works. So it denies buffs, so it's not really gonna work on these little guys here. But watch, okay, so did you see, my R&B just went to 2 different targets. Alright, I'm just gonna grab this guy. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna hit both these guys. Alright. Alright, so it takes 1.5 seconds. So it's kind of a long time. So he's weakened. Alright, and then he's dead. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you is, personally, at this point, I like to get either one of these. Because this helps you stay alive. I would say if you really want to kind of go a solo build where you don't have to worry about, you know, enemies getting away, you can like deal with chasing them down and doing a lot of damage, I would get Amity to gain health back so you can get Lifeline, because I would say Lifeline is going to help you heal faster. It's gonna kind of get you back in the fight a lot faster. I don't really ever get power hungry because Xenobia seems to get her focused extremely fast, so I don't think it's necessary. I would say tactical awareness. Let's say you're having trouble with the trip, right? And you find yourself kind of like sneaking up on people or chasing them down. That's where tactical awareness comes into play. I would say this is useful if you're literally chasing kills. Alright. And then Focus Might is going to be a very greedy build. So, okay. Since I'm showing you a team-based build, we're going to get Amity. So we're going to get health back, right? Alright, so I'll show you. Alright, do you see that bounce between? It's really cool. So basically, after each assist, because I'm speccing especially for my team, I basically, alright, there we go. Basically will gain health back a lot faster. So I like Amity a lot. It's really useful, especially since really as Xenobia you're just assisting people, so you get a lot of health. Alright, so the next thing we want to get in our team build is going to be Siphon Strength. I would say this is really useful if you have allies who are on your target a lot, or you're just basically attacking, you know, the front lines target, the assassin's target. If you're close enough, I would say Siphon Strength is really good, because if people are around you, if your allies are around you, they get 15% basic attack damage increase for 1 second. It doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a lot. So I don't think it's gonna actually work in this practice arena, so I might like show you some gameplay of this actually working. Alright, so Xenobia's Q also weakens people as well, so you're basically weakening them 2 times, so the weaken is probably a lot more potent because of that stacking. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is I would say you want to maybe get your Q. You want to like, do you want to launch people? Which I think is actually a more surviving kind of like ability, because you launch them up. And this can help you get away. This can stop creatures from collecting orbs. It can do a lot of things. Sorrow's Wake is interesting. It works a lot different. You can use it to heal people, or you can use it to basically inflict broken armor. So this one isn't bad with Echo of Spite. This one's not bad with Echo of Spite, because think about it. multiple people will have cracked armor, so one of them is going to get broken armor if you're playing your cards right. So that's actually not a bad ability. Or Banishing Sorrow, you know, like I said, it kind of interrupts people, and you could also slow them and then inflict extreme weakness. So I'm going to actually do this, get this for my team. But honestly, you can use either. Apparently my Q didn't work, so we're going to try it again. Just a few seconds. Alright. Alright, here we go. Alright, so that's the launch. So the enemies are literally in the air for like a good second, which is almost like a trip kick if you think about it, but you can use it anywhere, in any direction. So it's pretty strong. Alright, so the next thing we're going to get is actually going to be, I'm going to say Cripple. Crippling Anguish is very much a team-based ability, although you could do either. I would say this is really useful because it inflicts cripple onto your target. So this is where your real slow is coming into your build again. So I think this is really good to get. And remember, this is just an example of a build order. You can do whatever you want, whatever works for you. But this is just my suggestion for playing in a very much death ball comp where you're all moving together. Alright, so let's show you this. Alright, so they're really slow, they're crippled, they're gonna move really, really slowly. Alright. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is actually going to be the cutting words, which I find to be really great. If the enemy is already suffering a debuff, it causes bleeding. So I'm going to get that because honestly, from my left mouse button, my auto attacks, an enemy is going to already have a debuff, which is weaken. So basically, they're going to immediately start bleeding if I LMB them once and then RMB them. And this can hit multiple targets, so basically, if you just like attack somebody and then attack another person, RMB, they're both going to be bleeding, so it's pretty useful. And then the last part of this build, I'm going to say Lifeline. 20% healing to you. When out of combat, your health returns faster. This is really useful since Xenobia's abilities revolve around her gaining health back from enemies. I would say Lifeline is extremely useful to get. So we're going to grab that. And I'm going to show you, actually, a really good thing to show you is going to be on this guy because we can cripple him. He's going to actually move at us. Alright, so look at all the debuffs he had on him. Alright, I'm going to put him back in that. He had extreme weakness. Alright. We're going to just jump away. Alright, we're going to extremely weaken him. Alright. Oh, he hit me. Alright. Alright, he's still hitting me, but hey, don't be a jerk. Alright, he's extremely weakened. He really can't catch up with us that much. He's bleeding. I could just kind of kite him around, to be honest with you. Alright, so basically I could interrupt him. I was able to interrupt him because of my Q, which I think is really useful in a team environment. So basically you can interrupt, let's say you see Margrave leaping at you, you can interrupt him right out of the sky. It's a tough ability to deal with, honestly, and she can really just kite the shit out of creatures. Like, they can't catch up to her. They're getting debuffed. Alright. Hold on, I want to try to interrupt him. There we go. So the launch is basically a little bit of an interrupt, and it just stops them in their tracks from using abilities on you. So that's kind of the first build I wanted to show you to deal with teams. And the next one I'm going to show you is kind of a more selfish build for kind of being more of an assassin and damage dealer. Alright, so to demonstrate this build, I even have a different skin. So here we go. So for Xenobia to kind of be like an assassin and deal more damage, I would suggest Greedy Gaze. This is going to give you more health gain from your LMBs. So you're going to gain more health back and kind of be more effective with dealing damage with this ability. So that's kind of what I get first off the bat. The second thing I like to get with this build is I like to get Demoralizing Cry. So on hit also drains move speed from the enemy. This is pretty cool. So it slows an enemy and it hastes yourself for 2 seconds, but it also gives 2 seconds on the cooldown. So let's see how long the cooldown is normally. Alright, so it is 6 seconds. Alright. So it's gonna be 9 seconds. That's not that bad. But look how fast I can go for a couple seconds. And you're gonna gain more health from this too, so remember. Gain that little speed boost there. So that could be really great for tracing after assassins, Cyto Trip, anyone who thinks they can get away from you. I think that's a lot of fun to use. Okay, so the next thing I would say you want to use is, you have to think about it. Do you think you're going to have trouble surviving? I would get Amity and then Lifeline. Or there's this new build I'm trying out that just does damage. Tactical Awareness into Focus Might. I'm curious about how this is useful in a fight. I'm curious. It might not be that good, but I want to try it out. So we're going to try out Focus Might, where you gain 7% basic attack damage when you use Focus. And it maxes out at 14%. And it lasts until you die. So I want to try that out. So in addition to that, we're also going to get Building Anguish again. And then I want to get Revel in Anguish because this ability only benefits Xenobia. You deal damage with Mark of Despair, and it grants only Xenobia 15% damage for 3 seconds. So this is extremely greedy. This is just for you. So we're going to grab that, and because we're missing out on our cripple from E, we're going to grab the cripple heal here. And because we're missing our cripple, you have to think about this. Both are pretty interesting. So this one, Screaming Halt, on hit, if the enemy is already suffering a debuff, you inflict cripple. So you slow them and reduce the jump height for 2 seconds. The other one is really interesting too. Basically, on hit, you gain health while you drain speed. So it's kind of up to you. You want to cripple them, or do you want to drain their speed? And you also gain more health from this. So because I'm already sacrificing a little bit of health gain from Lifeline, I'm actually going to grab this one too to kind of even that out. The next thing I want to get is actually going to still be Banishing Sorrow. I think it's just too good to pass up. And then the next one, I'm going to do Domineering Glare. When you're above 50% health, you deal more damage. So this is up to you. Do you find yourself at low health a lot? Get Survival of the Cruelest. Do you find yourself kind of destroying the competition and your health is full all the time? I would get this one. Alright, so the next thing I want to get is I want to finish off my Q, and I still want to get the Inflict Extreme Weakness. So basically, we have a little bit of everything. We have a little bit of cripple, we have a little bit of slow, we have a little bit of health gain, and weakness. So I would say, alright, so we get that damage boost right there, and I kind of just shred that guy apart. And basically, just after he's dead, I can attack the other guy. I'm gonna launch him. Gives me a few seconds to do whatever I want. Alright, we gotta focus now. So I wanna test this out. Let's just do it on this guy. I know these guys don't really follow you around, so it's kind of lame. But alright, so we're gonna hit him and get our damage boost. Gonna weaken him. Drakes do a lot no matter what. But when I hit him, I get that speed boost. So it's really cool. Alright. Give me more damage. Alright. So now we're gonna do that to him. We're gonna focus him. So now I have even more damage. I have 7% damage increase right now. Alright, totally missed that ability. Alright, so I'm gaining a lot of health back, I would say. Like, it could probably be more. Alright, so he's weakened again, he's slowed. And I'm gonna end with basically full health. So that's pretty cool. I want to try it out on a Cerberus. Let's try that out. Alright, here we go. Try it on this guy. Alright, he's slowed. Alright, I'm gonna just use this. Alright, so basically I'm gonna focus again to... Okay, he didn't get focused, I guess. Focus again to get the full amount of damage. And you can see the yellow numbers mean I'm actually doing critical damage. So I'm actually critting. I'm doing a lot of damage for Xenobia. Right away, some of the time. This guy just moves a lot. It's just annoying. Alright. So what you want to do is you want to launch people into your E, basically, because it takes a little bit to cast. But I have so much speed over this guy every time I hit him, and I'm draining his speed with my attacks. So these are basically the two different kind of completely different builds that I've run into, and I might attach a little bit of gameplay just to show you how these two builds work in a broader context, like in actual gameplay context. Alright guys, so the last thing I actually want to talk to you about is Xenobia's skill specializations. So you have 3 different ones here that are extremely useful for different situations. You have Reach of Despair, which is an E upgrade. It increases the targeting range for Mark of Despair, and during clash, hitting a foe gives nearby allies 15% damage for 5 seconds. This is a huge damage boost. I would say this upgrade's really good on smaller maps. I would say Ghost Reef and Sirens, where you're really fighting over one point, where people are kind of bunched up. This will give your allies a huge damage boost, so this is very good for team play. Really, really, really strong upgrade. The next one we have is Swift Sorrow. So this deals with your Q, and the cooldown is reduced to 10 seconds. And during clash, the cooldown is set to 1 second on hit once every 20 seconds, which means that you can actually get your Q to push people away from you multiple times, or you can just use it multiple times if you hit a target. That's really strong. Let's say you're having trouble with melee characters on you a lot, or you just kind of want to launch them into the air frequently. I would say that's when your Q upgrade's really useful. So, really depends what you want to do in the game. All of these are very useful in their own way. I would say your Q upgrade here and the E are more beneficial to your entire team, because think about it, you can launch people basically every second as long as you hit them a couple times to set up kills for your team, or you can give your team damage. So these are very much team-based ones. And then your R&B, Insult and Injury, basically debuffs from Word of Spite, lasts for 2 seconds longer. So that means if you armor crack people and you have debuffs on them and they're bleeding, it lasts for 2 seconds longer. That can be a difference between killing somebody and them getting away. Same thing with Xenobia's other path, where she slows and drains speed or cripples people. Really, really just good upgrades, especially during clash. So basically during clash, if a debuffed foe dies, you reset all your cooldowns. That's pretty strong. That means you can basically keep spamming all of your abilities, especially if you have a team that's kind of killing your target consistently. So that's my breakdown of these. They're all very good in their own way. I hope that this has helped you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this has helped a little bit at least. I'll be doing more guides, so if you have any questions, if there's anything else you specifically want to see, let me know, and I'll try to do my best to show you. And anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Failco out.